All right. Well, we'll say good afternoon to folks here. We are just getting started. Apparently, we're both for some of the speakers and for some of the folks present live here, lunch took a little bit longer, so we started a little bit later. So we appreciate everyone's patience on the live stream as we get rolling again. Want to introduce uh, Director of the National Hurricane Center, Ken Graham, WX4KEG. Yes, he is an amateur radio operator. We are looking forward to his talk here for the group here, and for those of us that are in New England, we're also looking forward to his visit with the Hurricane Hunter planes, with the Hurricane Awareness Tour at the Quonset State Airport in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. And we will have a strong amateur radio presence there, and we're looking forward to talking with WX4NHC on that day, as we've done at past hurricane awareness tours, and have Ken talk back to his home office via amateur radio. So looking forward to that as well. And Ken is obviously, as an amateur, a very big proponent of amateur radio for the Hurricane Center and for Skywarn from his past experience at the local office right here in the New Orleans area. So without further ado, I'll introduce Ken Graham, WX4KEG, Director of the Hurricane Center.
Appreciate that. Well, definitely thank you for the invitation to come talk for a few minutes. And it's one thing to come up here and say I'm also a ham, which I'm very proud to be a ham. You go through experiences like Katrina, and you just remember that was the only way to be able to communicate. That was the only way we were able to send out information that we were still alive. What a concept, letting the world know we're still alive here. And, information about what's on the ground. We're so dependent on modern technology. I'm telling you, my kids, I tell the story all the time, if it's not on their phone, they're not getting information. So we just had a panel this morning talking about how to communicate differently. And, this is a world where people are very hooked on that technology. We have to figure out ways to continue to recruit, to get the young blood into ham radios. And we're going to talk about some of my presentations, making sure I include some information there, and finding ways to talk about that importance. And I can tell you, just from personal experience, you all have all been through some disasters. There's one thing that, not a lot in life is guaranteed, but I can guarantee you this, there's going to be more disasters. Earthquakes, hurricanes, floods. 90% of fatalities in tropical systems historically is water. We got to continue to be ready for that and be able to communicate after these disasters. And if you look at the 2018 season with Michael and Florence, the Florence statistics are very interesting. It's, that we had the fatalities, 17 people lost their lives in Florence because of flooding. Do you know 16 of those were in automobiles? So we've had a lot of campaigns. We've done a lot to talk about safety, but we still have these recurring things. And I think, with ham clubs across the country and how to help us communicate these dangers, be a part of that, and so I look forward to the Hurricane Awareness Tour and talking about that. And we always got to remember, in the end, it's about the people that we serve. Without that data, whether it's a tornado event, a forecast office, if they don't get that data, or us at the Hurricane Center getting that data on the ground, the ham radios are the eyes on the ground. We're having this conversation. After Katrina, we didn't know what was going on. No cell phones. And if you think about it, we didn't have television. We tried to we're teaching the young people how to use rabbit ears and aluminum foil. That happened. So, oh yeah, this is a trick we're trying to teach them. You couldn't get television, radio was sparse. The only information we had on the ground to know what was going on was the ham radio information. That was it. And being a ham radio operator for so long, I always want to get more active in it, but that handheld that I had was the only way to communicate. And remember this, share your stories with each other, because it's those stories when you go through a disaster, when you come out the other end, we're not the same. Do you agree? You're never the same after you see these things. And after 25 years of doing this, I know myself how I've changed over the years, and I could tell you that as a meteorologist, when I got my undergrad degree in atmospheric physics, all weather was about equations to me. It was all equations. I was like, wow, I love this weather stuff. I love these equations, I think, but I'm not really sure how to connect it. And then in graduate school doing television weather, something happened there. It was a disaster that you come out the other side with an epiphany, something different. And it was a tornado event. I don't think I've told this story before. It's a tough one to tell. And think about it, 23, 24 years old, doing television weather, pretty high on myself, right? Young, graduate school, making some money. I could lower my truck even lower. Come on, it's the 90s, right? The truck was that, anyway. I thought a lot of myself, got the degree doing television. You go places, you get recognized. That felt pretty good. Grocery store, you sign an autograph, So it was a tornado event, and on air, we went live on air. And I remember being live, and one of the reporters, the meteorologist really likes these events because, you're kind of in charge for the next 4 or 5 hours at the station. It's nobody else. So I'll never forget, one of the reporters says, "Psst, Ken, telephone call." I shushed her off. 23 years old, I'm on air, taking advantage of all that airtime, shushed her off. She repeated, "Telephone call." I said, "Folks, we'll be right back. I need to take this call." So I took the call, and it was a gentleman that said, "Hey, I'm watching you on the air. It looks like I think we're in a tornado warning. I don't know what to do. We're in a recreational vehicle. I got my whole family here." I'm like, "Wow, okay. Where do you live, sir?" So I looked on the map. It's an old Cavoris radar with the swoops and all the buttons, which 90% of them didn't work, but they flashed really nice. And it was interesting because I said, you got to get out of that right in the path. Look, they're right in the warning. I mean, very dangerous situation. Get out, get into a ditch, protect your heads. Got off the phone, went back on air, did my thing, and about an hour later, psst, telephone call. Same thing, right? And then second time, psst, telephone call. So I got the phone call, and it was that same gentleman, same guy, and he says, "We're okay." I said, "Well, good. I'm glad you're okay. That's a good thing." He goes, "No, you don't understand. I got my family into the ditch. We're all out here, and the RV is gone." So it was interesting that probably a month later, I resigned and joined the National Weather Service. So it's been on a crusade ever since then to talk about communication, talk about behavioral and social science, interacted with the physical science that we do. It's a passion. Everywhere I go, I'm talking about it. And the ham radio, you guys are a huge, huge part of that. So we got to figure out the sustainability for the long term, because people think they have all this communication, this fancy stuff. You should see the psychology when you take that all away and somebody takes a phone that doesn't work out pocket every 5 minutes to look at it to see if it's working yet. I saw it in Katrina, and that was in 2005. What is it like now? It's got to be worse, right? We're more addicted to that stuff. So how to manage that communication to attract the next generation? I think it's critical, because the need for ham radios, that's going to continue forever. But having the people to be able to do that, I think it's a huge visionary part of the strategic plan of the whole entire program. So anyway, I could go on and on. I know you guys are having a great conference. I'm proud to be a ham, WS4 KEG. It's my email address, it's everything. I've had license plates with it and everything over the years. Very proud. Everywhere I go, I try to brag about what you all do. And I can tell you right now, representing NOAA and the Weather Service, we can't do our job without you all. So I want to thank you for those reports. I want to thank you for being there 24 hours a day, not only a hurricane, but across the country in floods and tornadoes. You guys are with us. You're right there in operations. You're handing over the data. You're talking about what you see, and we're talking back and forth. That is absolutely priceless and will not go away. That need will continue. So anyway, that's all I had. I just wanted to share a few things. So it's what an honor to be here with you all today, and appreciate you all at the conference, and let's keep it going. And whatever I can do to help, I'm here for the program. So thank you guys.